So Victoria, what are you driving today?
Well, Joe, today I'm not actually going to be driving because it's your car and I want to hear all about it. So guys, here you have it, this amazing Porsche 928. This car is so loved. You guys are going to be besotted with this story. So should we go for a drive, Joe? You can tell me all about it.
Let's go for it. Right.
Joe,
What?
we're finally in your car.
We are finally in the car.
I am so happy. I've been so looking forward to doing this video with you for many reasons. For many reasons. One, because you're fucking awesome.
Thank you.
Like, I'm
You
not
too.
just saying that because you're in the car with me. This guy, I just can't. His energy is like, I can feel it radiating off of you.
That's so kind of you, thank you.
Instagram is my morning thing. You and Moggs, there's Moggs PT and Joe Justice, and you are my two go-to in the morning.
Yeah?
To like get myself
For some
going.
energy.
For some energy and just to make myself feel shit for getting up half an hour later and laying in bed on Instagram.
And
instead
get your
of
coffee
actually
going and
instead of actually getting up and
check out some positive energy. I love that.
And you stretching and Moggs telling us about, you know, the spot that she has on her forehead, but you know,
all the real stuff.
All the real stuff. But I just knew that this video was going to be amazing.
I was really looking forward to it. Thank you for doing it with us.
Well, it's my pleasure because you've just got the car back from having quite a bit of work done on it.
Yeah.
At a Spanish garage, which means that the work that you asked for is never properly done. But we'll get there. We'll get there. She's running. She's looking gorgeous, sounding amazing. So tell me a little bit about her. What is she? What are we in today?
So we are in my my Porsche 928S. This is a car from 1983, and this car's actually been in my family for 30 years. So
and that is the story that I want to hit on today. So this isn't just another video about a 928. It's not just another ownership video. It is about a car that has been in your family for, well, older than you are? How old are you?
Yeah, I'm actually 30. So my uncle bought this car. My uncle bought this car in 1993. So yeah, it's a little over that time.
Damn.
And all I remember is sitting in that back bucket seat there, looking forward to this this driver's seat where my uncle would be sat, and just thinking he was the coolest guy alive. Like, you know,
well, he was.
He was. He really was. And you know, I never knew actually what the car was, what the 928 stood for. I didn't know any of the history. In actual fact, at that age, I didn't even know it was a Porsche. You know, like all I thought was that my uncle just had the Batmobile sat in his garage.
Because that's what it looks like from the outside.
And that was what we called it. You know, we were all off for a drive in Uncle's Batmobile, and you know, he loved it.
Oh, I bet he did.
He absolutely loved it, and so did we. So.
And how did you end up with the car?
So sadly, my uncle passed away after like a 3-4 year battle with sickness, and during that time that he was getting sick, this car was just sat in his garage in exactly the same position that I always remembered it in.
So it hadn't been driven for years?
Yeah, like it was about 4 years in total that it was just on standstill. Yeah, it had mice all in, you know, the back of the console, all the electrics had been eaten.
Because this was in England, right?
Yeah, this was back in the UK, in the south of England. And so the car had just been neglected, not because he didn't love it. He absolutely adored this car. It was his pride and joy.
Well, he must have to have kept it for that long, like 3 decades.
Exactly. And then when he sadly passed away, my mum asked me if I would go round to my auntie's with her one Saturday after work and just have a look in the garage and start sorting things out, you know, like more of the, what you class as like the masculine things that my auntie didn't really know too much about.
Boxes of like cables and stuff.
Cables, lawnmowers and all sorts of bikes and all sorts of things. And he was a hoarder. I mean, he had all sorts of stuff in there. But, you know, amidst that, right in the centre, under a cover, was this car. And I always remember this car. And so when we started looking into it, we actually had 2 people come out who were classic car enthusiasts. And they offered my auntie a pittance because, unbeknownst to myself at the time, the classic car market was on the rise, but you could still pick up one of these really, really cheap. 5-6 years ago, you could pick one of these up for a couple of grand.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
You know, like if it needed some work, you know, and this was a non-runner, so they weren't prepared to pay any more than that. So yeah, it was a perfect opportunity for me to say to my auntie, can I keep it in the family? Would you mind if I gave you the money that you've been offered? and a little extra, and keep it in the family. And she was just, yeah, I mean, she was blown away by that brought her to tears. So.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it was a great story. It was a great feeling.
And did you do any work to the car in the UK, or did you have it all done down here? Did you drive the car down? How did she end up in Marbella?
I actually had her shipped over about 6 months ago, just before the isolation, just before the quarantine struck.
Really? Oh, I thought you'd had her down here for longer.
No. It was just before, and I'd had so much work done in the UK. And then when I got her here, within about 3 days, there was smoke coming out the engine. So it was something to do with the water pump. So she was straight back in the garage. And that is, unfortunately, the nature of taking on a classic car that's been sat for years.
Well, yeah, I mean, you never know. You know, there's always going to be some things going on. She's never going to be in perfect condition, but she'll always be perfect for you, I'm sure. She
is. I mean, she's a headache, but I wouldn't have it any other way, you know. Like, there's a lot of love
here. Sounds like most women.
Exactly.
There's always something wrong with us.
Exactly. But to be honest with you, like, the feeling and the relationship that I have with this car, it is an extension of my family.
Of course.
It is only metal, you know, like a lot of people that watch your channel, they're going to obviously be motorheads, they're going to love their cars. You know, for me,
they feel the same way we do about them. I'm sure they get it.
Absolutely. Like, before this car, I wasn't one of those people.
Right.
You know, I really wasn't.
Into cars, or was it just...
Not really.
Right, okay.
No, not really. It was actually more a case of, this is my family's, this is my uncle's.
And all the memories, man, of like childhood, and especially because your uncle's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much packed into this one car.
Yeah.
But is she your everyday car, or do you have another car down here?
I do have another car at the moment. Yeah, I rent a car each month down in Spain.
Right. So you wouldn't risk having her as your only car?
Not yet. Right. I'd love to. I mean, that'd be the dream, wouldn't it? To be able to like drive this all the time, but it's not practical or reliable to do that, because, you know, if I need to get to a client's and this car, you know,
doesn't
isn't
start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At the moment, she's just come out of the garage. It's fantastic.
I mean, she's running so smooth.
Beautiful.
She sounds gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful.
The only thing is aircon.
Okay, let's talk about the aircon.
Like, we're not normally sweating this much. People are going to be like, what the fuck have they been doing?
They're in Spain in July in a black on black car, you know?
It is so hot. But that's what you get with older cars. That's what you're always going to get. You know, the aircon's not going to be the same, the steering's not going to be the same, the suspension's not going to be the same. But all in all, I think she is great value for money.
When you look at classic cars, it's very often outside of the book price, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, it's what somebody's prepared to pay for the car. The history obviously plays a huge role in that, and this car's got an incredible history, having been in my family, in one family for so long.
That's crazy. So it's so easy to like follow all the history of the car, the mechanical history. And what's the mileage on it? Is that
104,700?
That's miles.
That's miles. Yeah.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
You know, when I'm in a car like this, I always think there's no way that modern cars nowadays are going to feel and look this good in 30 years' time.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. The quality, I mean, everything you touch here, even though you can tell, you know, that she's of a certain age, like me, but she's...
And me, I'm 30 years old too.
But she still looks and feels amazing. And with these kind of cars, I mean, they're brands that are worshipped, right? Because Porsche, same as Ferrari, is a really, really old brand. They've got so many people who are passionate and following about them. Yeah. But there's always certain models that just get lost. Like the 928 with Porsche, the 456, for example, with Ferrari, which is also a 2+2. Yeah. Same kind of look, like a GT look. Yeah. Comfy, you know, automatic gearbox, so it's relatively easy for everyday use. But they've got lost when it comes to the classic value. Yeah. You know, they're not overpriced. No. You know, because I mean, what's the engine on it?
So this is a 4.7 V8 in this one. That then went up to 5.4 in the GT model, which was around 90, I believe it was around 93, 94 that the GT was produced. And over 80% of these cars were autos as well.
And the horsepower on this one is?
I think it's around 256, something like that. Yeah. So they're notorious to be relatively heavy in the lower gears. And then when you get up to sort of 3,000-4,000 revs, that's really where they come into their own, you know, being a GT. So if you've got this out on the highway, out on the motorway, it just comes into it. So it's absolutely stunning. It feels strong. You know the difference between the 928 and the 911, and the 911 purists, you know, they love the 911.
That's the thing. It's the same as Ferrari with the V8s, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This car doesn't count. They don't even bring it into consideration.
Absolutely. I mean, the difference between that, the 911 and this, is when you get it up into that kind of like high rev range bracket, this car feels so solid with the power, with the speed.
Gotcha.
And that really is where the thrill comes in the 928, and what a lot of 928 enthusiasts say the same thing. This car makes you feel masculine, it makes you feel strong, and it makes you feel good.
It does, and it suits you. I mean,
Thank you.
You're a young lad, you know, good looking chap, looks after yourself. You like to dress nice, but it doesn't look. A lot of times I think when we go for classics, it can look like you're just trying to get a nice car but not pay a lot of money for
less.
it. Yeah, that's not the look. I mean, the 928 has such a unique look. We were just driving around before we started recording. There was a girl on a motorbike on an R1, so she's obviously into, you know, speed and you know, adrenaline rushes. And she was like, yeah, giving us a thumbs up. And that's in Marbella. I mean, where there's an Aventador on every single corner.
Exactly
so,
that.
You know, your people here normally phase out, but she's definitely an eye catcher. I love her.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I agree with that. You know, it's pretty much every single day that I drive this car, someone will drive past, or they will put some kind of like thumbs up, or you know, you're at the petrol station and someone will comment. There's a lot of people out there that love these cars. They miss these cars. You know, they're 928 enthusiasts. And I suppose when you have something yourself, you own something yourself, you pay attention and you notice things a lot more. And you know, there's a lot of fans for these cars, and it gives me a great sense of pride to know that I own one, and not only that I own one, I own my uncle's. That's it. And the dream lives on. Yeah, and especially because she's raw. You know, you don't get the rawness anymore. No. I've spoken about this before. Nowadays, there's so much technology. There's, you know, so many fancy buttons and things going on, and you just don't get this. Even though we're both here sweating our tits off. I feel alright now.
I feel, it's not too bad now. It's not too bad.
I've calmed.
Well, it was an emotional journey.
At the moment, I'm not your typical Porsche owner, you know, so I work a humble personal training job. So all of my spare change goes into this car, into this passion project, if you like. Yeah. But no, I've certainly got no intentions of selling it anytime soon, because I love it. Amazing. I love it, and all the while I can keep it, I will. Good. Well, I love it too, and I think it's the perfect fit for you. Thank you. So thank you so much. Thank you, Vic. Thank you for this. It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week. Take care.